But yes, obviously, we're here talking about, the group, which, it premiered, at FrightFest a couple of years ago as part
Mm.
of the First
Yeah.
Blood strand. How was that experience?
Dylan, are you first or me?
I feel like I had hair when it came out. It was yeah, it was a great experience. It was a busy time because we're just coming out of that pandemic and things were starting to work again. So I think I raced back from Budapest, and I think I got in like late the night before. I think it was on a Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That we did the
Mhm.
premiere. Um, I mean, for me, I don't know about E, but for me, it was such a long time coming because we'd actually started filming that beginning of
Ages ago, ages.
2020, and then we were due to get pickups, and then the pandemic hit, and
Mhm.
then we had to delay because of the nature of the film and the way it's shot and the time of day
Mhm.
you need to shoot it. We then had to wait till the end of the year, I think, to do pickups,
Mhm.
and then there was the whole, editing process and ADR and everything else that goes with it. So
Mhm.
it's like giving birth to a child without
Yeah,
the tea and jam sandwiches afterwards, I think.
yeah. It was like I think to actually see it because I don't think any of us knew what was going on for for a good time. So to actually be like, oh, it's going to be shown at I think it was the Prince Charles Cinema,
Mm.
and to be able to share it, it was like a whoa, we actually made this like quite a while ago. We had some hiccups um along the way, but it was yeah, it was quite surreal to like see it on the big screen as well. And also the Prince Charles Cinemas a really cool little venue um as well, and it's one that I've been to before. So to actually see something that we've made like being shown there was quite a fun special thing as well.
And like you both said, this film was, a long time in production, a long time coming. Again,
Mm.
it premiered a couple of years ago, and now we're here talking about the release. What was it for you both about this script and these characters that made you, not only get involved, but want to sort of commit, so much of your life to getting it into the world?
That's a good
I
question.
think yeah, I mean
That
I
is a
think
good
straight
question.
away from the get-go, um, reading the script, I thought, oh, okay, I'm a bit of a sucker for a psychological thriller. And then I think it's like there's lots of delicate themes within it, and it's for me, it's I'm really interested in relationships and what makes human beings, and I was like instantly attracted to the script. So I thought, oh, this, there's so many different layers um, within this, and each person in it is so human and damaged in one way or another. So I really, really, yeah, I kind of, I got really into the script super, super, super easily. I thought, you know what, this is something that I really, really want to audition for, and it's like a different type of like it's a different type of character that yeah, I never experienced anything like that. So it was I thought, yeah, that this is going to be like a challenge, but it's something that I really want to, try and bring justice to and try and, you know, sink my teeth into.
I think for me, as soon as I think I can't remember where I saw the audition notice for it,
Mm.
but I read the character brief and I thought, oh, that's a bit of me. I really, I'm really
That's a
quite
bit of
interested
Dylan.
in.
That's a bit of
Yeah,
Dylan.
yeah. And then um and then I think Will sent through the script for me to have a look because he said you
Mm.
might want a bit of background reading on it. And yeah, I knew from the first time I read the script that this is something I wanted to be involved with. I think because you got a lot of industry professionals all in there, all all
Mm.
taking that time out, and you've normally got that window sort of after Christmas in normal times, of January, where people get low budget films made, and you get the best possible people in to make those projects. So I was really excited for it, and I knew sometimes you get these sixth sense about things. I knew as soon as I'd done the self tape for it and sent it off, I thought, uh, yeah, if I don't get it, then someone really, really good who knows what they're doing is going to get it. But yeah,
Yeah, although a film, for a lot of the group, it almost feels like theatre. What was it like for you both as actors to kind of work in front of the cameras in that way?
it was.
Mm.
I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think Luke, who plays Seth,
Luke.
yeah, bless him, summed it up well. I mean, it was pretty much everything was shot in sequence. It was a very
Mm.
tight shooting schedule. We had a couple of read-throughs. We had a couple of get-togethers and sort of walk through in the sort of November before we started shooting in January, I think it was. And it was as rehearsing a play. There were very few second takes, and it's not just because you know we knew where our characters were, we knew where the lines were.
Yeah.
Pretty much, if there was another take of something, it was because it was a different angle, or there's a bit of movement in a track somewhere. But it's very rare that you get to shoot something like that where you do shoot in order and you keep your character curve, pretty fresh throughout. I think there's only probably one, maybe two scenes that were shot out of sequence, but that was just down to availability of, getting the people there to do it, I think.
Mm. And the lighting as well, because it kind of takes place at night, so you have to wait until it's
Mm.
dark outside, and then I think where we were shooting as well, um, the synagogue, it had certain hours where we couldn't shoot, so we had to really, really get the nail on the head and do this. Um, but I think for me as well, because this was my first, like I had done student films and short films and stuff like that before, but this was my first like professional sort of feature film set. Um, so I feel like it really, really was a blessing in disguise to have, like a very nice chronologically, or the majority of it chronologically shot. And that for me, just yeah, for like your first experience when you don't really know the ropes of being on a set, and you're still kind of figuring stuff out. It was really nice to be like, okay, I don't need to worry about what's you know we're going from scene 5 to scene 10 to scene 1 to scene 18, or something like that. Um and yeah, it was just kind of a really nice introduction to being on a set and feature films, and the world of film and everything like that.
See, we didn't know that at all. We didn't know that was your first one.
Yeah, it was.
So we were all sitting there thinking, God, she's really good, isn't she? She's really focused. She's just getting in the mode. And I remember speaking to Jen and going, yeah, I've got up my game on this one.
I had great people to learn off. I had great people to learn off. I swear. I swear.
Hmm.
But they also say something that, because I love theatre. I'm a massive, massive theatre nerd, right? And I think theatre is magical, and I think it is so true. The whole thing of theatre is an actor's medium, film is a director's medium, and TV series are a writer's medium. So sort of have this almost chronological, it's mainly one, two, three takes if the boom is in shot sort of thing. It really gave us more agency, um, which was super, super fun. Yeah.
And as actors, you say, this is a film that takes place overnight, which meant, you couldn't be filming in the location until then. How do you kind of, train yourselves to be able to do night shoots? Because this is it's a very intense film. It's very emotional. You're already getting tired because it's night. How do you kind of do that flip so that you can, sustain a night shoot?
Coffee. No, no, I'm joking. Um, dinner?
Um, I don't think you actually can prepare that much for it. I mean, I'm not a great sleeper anyway, so I can normally get by on about 4 hours sleep. Um, you do. I mean, we're not. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not doing anything sort of major. We're not saving people's lives or operating or, you know, doing anything life saving. So I don't know. I find it quite simple. Coffee
Mm.
does help. You try and prepare, but you do have those moments where your sleep pattern
Mm.
goes, your concentration can go. Um,
Yeah. It's
you
like
just,
3 in the morning and you're kind of
yeah.
sitting there like, what
I
am I
think,
doing, man?
yeah, there was one point. I think we're all asleep on the corner of a set, and Will was running around
Yeah,
trying to find everyone
yeah.
to do one shot. But I think you kind of just get used to it. I think you have to
Mm.
trust, and this sounds a bit naff, but you do have to trust that when you are doing your thing, you believe it, what it is you are doing at that moment in time.
Mhm.
And I think, if you are tired, you sort of bring that, as long as it fits into your
Mhm.
character, you sort of bring that into it
Yeah,
because, if you are
yeah.
tired, you're tired.
You can
So
use it.
yeah, you use it, and I just hope you can repeat it if you need to repeat it. I think that's the
Mhm.
thing. But you just,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it can be difficult, but I think it's more
Yeah,
difficult actually for, I don't know how, the crew and, Andy is
yeah.
DOP and everyone else, that those are the people that
Mhm.
are really doing the work.
Yeah.
They have to
I also,
concentrate.
yeah, I also think it's, you're all in the same boat. You're all tired, but you're all striving towards, you know, this project, and we all believe this project, and we all love this project. And what a privilege it is to be working and to be on a set at 3 in the morning.
Mm.
Like what a privilege it is to, be doing something that you love. And even if you're tired, you're all collectively tired, and you kind of make a joke about it and move on, because at the end of the day, you're there to do a job, and you're there to enjoy yourself, and you're there to keep learning, and you're there to, because you have faith in what you're doing.
Mm.
So it's kind of like, I mean, how lucky am I that I get to do this?
I
Um,
mean, there were
yeah.
times we were doing, 5, 6 minute takes
Mm,
in the scenes. So, for us, which goes back to the theatre thing, you're
mhm.
in the scene, you're doing that. For everyone else on the crew, just standing there, just trying to be quiet
Yeah.
is quite tiring. So, hats
Mhm.
off to everyone else that was there that had to put us
Mm,
with, like,
yeah.
with us ranting around.
I also feel like you get more tired when you're not doing as
Mm.
much. And then when you are doing something and you're doing a take, you're constantly active, you're constantly thinking. But when, you need to wait for ages, that's when you get tired, and that's when you're like, okay, I I I need to work on this right now.
And Dylan, after the group, which is this very intimate, there's only a handful of characters. A couple of projects later, you're there on set of Dune 2. What is it like going from this sort of like super independent, intimate movie to this enormous ensemble?
Yeah, massive. You mind blowing. I mean, it's I mean, I'd like to say it's totally different, but it's not. I mean, the work is the work. It's the same. It doesn't matter who you're working with. You still need to have a connection with, the people you're working with and the people around you. I mean, it's just, the difference is, on the group, we were probably shooting, crikey, 10, 11, 12 pages a day,
Mhm.
on something like June, a director like Denny can, he spent all day just shooting someone's hand moving a lever, and that's the kind of difference. I think the snacks were definitely better, 100%. 100%. It Yeah, I'd love to say it's a world apart, but the fundamentals are exactly the same. You're doing your stuff in front of very talented people behind a camera, and hopefully they catch what you give or what you don't give. But we're quite a small part. But it was I mean, I told Will and the guys that. I mean, I was lucky enough to get a small part in June Part 2 off the back of this.
Nice.
So someone had seen a clip that was being pitched around at the time, on the group. So, there you go.
And I guess it's sort of like my final question. Now that, the group is, sort of going to be finally available for, for more people to watch, why do you each hope that people take a chance on this film?
I think it's low budget filmmaking at its finest. I think it really is, a group of people that are so passionate about something, um, about a story that is so, you know, it deals with a lot of heavy issues. And the fact that we, made this thing with a very like small budget, and I you know, I think that's what like filmmaking and the industry and everything. I think that's what it should be. It's a group of people that are so passionate about something coming together and creating something and like putting it out into the world. And you know again, like with the subject matter, I think there's definitely something to learn from it as well. And I think just supporting independent indie films is such a amazing amazing thing. um and the story, I hope that it can resonate with some people. I hope that people can, it unlocks things within people. It makes people think. Like I genuinely think it's a really really, you know it's that sort of story that can go far.
Oh, 100%. I think
Mm.
the, from what the team's achieved, putting everything together there, for, I mean, if people,
Mhm.
look at what the budgets are, I mean, it's
Crazy.
incredible. I think
Yeah.
it's a cracking little story. There are moments that are truly, the hairs stand on the back of your neck, and they still do. I watched it again the other day, and
Mm.
there's a certain scene in there that gets me every time when I look at it, and I was in it. So, and I sit there going, whoa. And it's I've had friends and family watch it who now look at me in a totally different way, and you know, don't invite me to things.
Mm.
But I think, overall, as Evangeline said, we're the indie film market is an amazing market. I watched a couple of things that were on, online that were on at
Mm.
FrightFest, and one particular film I watched this morning is like, it was made, pretty much put together by two people,
Amazing.
and the story cracks along, and the story it can tell for, and I think that's key, is when you have a good story, the budget doesn't really matter. You know,
Mhm.
you could spend money on big effects, on, big sets, on everything else, but does it add to the story? Does it not? And I think for people to watch something like The Group, and other independent films, I think is essential, because that is where people hone their skills, they learn their skills, and they build careers out of. And I think it's essential that people watch films,
Like
especially
just
UK.
yeah, human beings making art like that.
Mm.
I think that's the most incredible important thing. I yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's like a multi-billion pound or, again, like something like similar budget to this. It's us doing what we love, telling these stories, and like how incredible is that? I love it.
Great. Well, thank you both so much for your time, and I wish you the best of luck with the release.
Pleasure. Thanks, Kat.
Thank you so much.